senior project, it was debunking Mount Pleasant. We decided to take a step up and show a more internal act of leadership by going out and exploring the urban myths and legends that we've been around our whole lives and figuring out the truth of what actually lies under Mount Pleasant, all the stories that go around the locations that we chose. So,
I'm Shah Patel,
I'm Chloe.
and you got mine.
all right. The urban legends that we started out with. The end of the world is a very common one. It has so many stories behind it. You know, we've interviewed numerous people about how they heard their satanic cult meetings there weekly, and how the KKK used to meet there all the time. And actually, a couple people we interviewed said they still have heard that the KKK does still meet there, which I don't know. We'll find out if that's true or not. Also, it's been the sighting of a bunch of public hangings in the 1950s and 60s. Property has been around for as long as Mount Pleasant's really been around, but it has a lot of history, and it's a very actually spooky place. But a lot of the times, a lot of country kids like to ride their quads in the trails and stuff, and so it's a very ambiguous location.
The Broadway Theater is also known to be haunted. There's been rumored that paranormal activity comes around, like ghost sightings, things falling randomly.
As a child, I did dance recitals at Warner Hall, and my teachers always told rumors about how there was a beheaded actress that happened in, I want to say it was the 1800s, 1900s. She was downstairs in the bottom of the stage, and she was calling up to her friend. She leaned her head in the dumbwaiter, it came down, crashed on her head, and she was beheaded. It's rumored that her ghost lives there and haunts the theater.
We also have video footage of all of our explorations through these, but little did we know, a documentary type style of filming would take up about an hour and a half worth of footage. So trying to compact that down to about 5-10 minutes to show you guys clips was nearly impossible. The video ended up being about 23 minutes. So we have that on our YouTube, on Sean Patel's YouTube, where we explore all of these, and we have video footage of all our results. Moving on.
Why this topic? Well, personally, when I was a little kid, I used to watch shows like on National Geographic Channel, History Channel, when they're actually good. And I was always fascinated with the documentaries about like aliens and like ghost sightings. I think there was a TV show called Ghost Adventures or something. It was like a National Geographic. Now, I was always scared to watch it, but I always had to watch it because it was so fun. Basically, this project took me back to the days when I was really curious about all that stuff. But now, instead of watching TV shows, I actually got to be a part of it.
For me, this project was more of a thing to step out of my comfort zone. I've always been like kind of a scaredy cat, whether it's coming to things like paranormal activity or messing with things that you don't know, or speaking in front of people, going out of my way, trying new things, stuff like that. So this project was a big step for me in doing something that I haven't done before, and doing something that I thought I would be afraid of, stepping over boundaries within like my personal life.
I wanted to take an active leadership upon myself with this project. I wanted to explore more than I'd ever imagined. I wanted to do something where I don't just bring people together, but we also step up. And I guess it sounds kind of chaotic the way I want to describe it, but I really like the idea of chaos, revolt, and disorder, and exploring that realm that's usually always unexplored. And so I wanted to take that upon myself and close friends to, I guess, find the answer to stuff that has been unanswered for our entire lives of living in Mount Pleasant, since we were all born and raised here. That would be a very good idea to debunk all of these locations. But
Okay, so the benefits that we thought would come along with this project would be to answer curiosity in the mind of community residents. I'm sure all of you have heard stories about these places and have kind of wondered for yourself, like, what really goes on here. We wanted to discover the things that actually do happen and whether or not they are true.
Another benefit is sending a message to overcome your fears. Now, going into the realm of paranormal activity is a very scary thing. You can see when we were younger, we were always scared of the dark, how a ghost might pop up. But stepping out of that fear and actually doing stuff that makes you scared can actually help you grow as a person and build yourself even further.
Yeah, Sham said it was also to send out a message, like, just because you've heard a bunch of urban legends and stories behind these places doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and explore the truth for yourself, to overcome that fear that has been subconsciously implanted in you. It's more so moving on, going against that, looking at your face and saying, try me. So it was really just to spread awareness of don't be so scared. It's really not that bad, honestly.
We thought that this project would bring us together and help us use our teamwork and leadership skills. For this, we had to do a lot of things like filming. We had to come in contact with a lot of different people, and these are skills that we had to take upon ourselves to go out and actually do. So it helped us to kind of branch out and reach out to different members of the community and make phone calls, do emails, things like that.
And then the last point Armando kind of covered in our last slide. Obtaining information. Personally, I went down to City Hall to try to get information about the end of the world, the Werner Hall, and Broadway Theater. Unfortunately, didn't have much information on the end of the world and Werner Hall. They said I could just go to Werner Hall to get stuff. But I did get a lot of information on Broadway Theater, such as their past architectural history, past ownership throughout the years, also court cases they've had.
Also, I stayed in contact with, there's actually a local paranormal investigations group. Yeah, found that out, emailed them, we stayed in contact throughout this whole thing. Also, what I thought, what's scarier than paranormal activity? So, that's also why, anyway, from that, talked to them a lot about all of these locations. They said they never actually investigated any of them except for the Broadway Theater, and they kept in contact with us, telling us how to go about this and how to just, even though when things get scary and it looks like something surreal is actually going to happen, just to keep on moving on, and that's how you really discover what happens. And so they were very helpful throughout the process. Unfortunately, I tried to get them to come here and present with us and talk about the importance of all this and how it is really stepping out of your comfort zone, but they're all, I guess that's actually not a very good paying job, being a paranormal investigator, so they all have full-time jobs or unavailable at the moment.
We also had to make phone calls, emails, and we conducted interviews with a lot of different sources, such as like people in our town that have been to different locations like Broadway Theater that have been in plays there, or Warner Hall. And then like I contacted people from Midland trying to get information about the end of the world. They didn't have anything on it. So yeah.
The last thing we did was actually went to certain locations and filmed. Like our main one was the end of the world. Pretty scary, but also a lot of fun.
We also tried figuring out who owned that property actually. It's actually a big smorgasbord amount of people that supposedly own that property, and a lot of it's state property, and a lot of the trails inside there are owned by other people or for sale. So it was very hard to find an efficient source for the end of the world or who owns it, who gives some insight on that.
As soon as we went there, we saw that not many people actually follow the rules there. There's a lot of don't enter signs and stuff like that, but you can obviously see tire tracks of multiple vehicles, dirt bikes and all that. Our discoveries. From the end of the world and the Werner Hall, we were able to debunk, mainly because a lot of people go there. At the end of the world, you can see hunters going there in hunting season. A lot of people just ride their dirt bikes there. You can also see water bottles laying around, newspapers, stuff like that. So we realized there's too much human civilization there, and not enough people reporting that they see paranormal activity. However, the Broadway Theater, we still remains a mystery because we didn't have the resources to actually go and find out things about there. Like we didn't have permission to go there at night and actually check it out.
The end of the world is actually a real, it is debunked, but nevertheless, it's actually a very creepy place. There are like water bottles laying around, and if you go to his YouTube page and look at the video, there are also video clips of these weird posters with like zombie type figures on them. There's a bunch of bullet holes through a bunch of things, and there's a burnt mattress there, and there are a lot of weird markings on trees. It's very spooky, but it's an obvious place where human civilization is actually existent. There are just so many things that add up to it being a place where humans hang out. And what I did find out also from Sacred Heart students is that every year it's a tradition for the seniors to go there and throw a huge party. So that is why also it's really not that scary. And there are a lot of tire marks from dirt bikes, a lot of fresh ones, and a lot of hunting shacks. And it's too populated, I guess, with random humans to be a haunted place.
So our discoveries for the end of the world, basically, it's just private property that we may or may not trespass on. But there's nothing too over the top crazy about it. Like Mondo said, there was like markings on the trees. There was like private property signs. There were like those posters were for target practice. So things like that. It was not a KKK meeting place. There's not satanic like worshipers there. Unless they like hid in the woods. Everything that we found that was suspicious, we discovered there was nothing more to it than just kind of like little creepy things that are in our heads because of the stigma around it.
There weren't any footprints on
Like
anything. at
nothing
all.
in the woods.
We saw like deer footprints.
Yeah, that's about it. And then Broadway though, we were able to keep in contact with, thank you to Katie Kalika, with someone that was head of the board there, Cindy Kilmer. And I was able to speak with her for about 3 minutes, unfortunately, because she's a very busy woman. But she did say that she knows nothing about it being haunted or anything, and that people say that and they speculate, but it's really not. Like, she said it's not true, but the paranormal investigators we spoke with, they said that it was haunted and they investigated it, and so that one remains a mystery.
And here's some pictures. The one, the bottom left, we actually found the city hall. They gave us a lot of information. That's one of the architectures we had. Werner Hall, we also didn't have permission to go there during night. But during the day when you go there, everything seems normal. You don't really see anything spooky or mysterious going around. People work there as normal and do their own thing. So we debunked this easily because obviously there's human civilization. A lot of people going there, but not a lot of people, that many people reporting that they see any paranormal activity.
Also with Broadway, we found out the history of it. There was an owner there who actually died, and it was a very mysterious death. And right after that death is when the so-called haunting started. And the stories go is that it's him watching over his beloved theater and such. So it's very, very fishy place.
And here's some pictures.
Warner, yeah.
We did have some difficulties with our project. Our main one was time constraints. Like we said, we filmed a lot of different places, and it just took a lot of time to go and do these things, and we didn't expect the amount that it would take.
We also had difficulties finding proper documents for each location, like information. Broadway Theater, I feel like that was pretty easy, but the end of the world, very hard to do because there was no clear ownership of that, and they've lost documents throughout the years and stuff.
Also, yeah, we wanted to record everything, so we never knew what we'd find or when we'd find it. So we wanted to record everything, and with that, we just, I was editing it in Adobe Premiere, and it just took so long. The process was very tedious because of all the footage we shot. It took me about a week and a half, just about a week and a half, but we got it compacted into what's important and what's not. So that was probably the most difficult, is time constraints and working around people's schedules that were involved with this.
Another problem that was personal for me, I wasn't here for a whole week. Going on a BPA trip, so in that time period, Amanda and Chloe had to do a lot of things on their own, and they didn't really want to go film locations without me, so that whole week kind of backfired on us.
We were also unable to get like permission to go to the locations at night, which was a little bit more difficult because that's the time when people would really think, oh, you'd see something spooky.
People don't really like having a haunted reputation, so that was very hard to get permission.
What we took away from this project, I definitely took away to stay curious, to explore things, to go out of your comfort zone and try things that you haven't before, to look at a different side of things because you never know really what's going to be there.
It was a lot of fun, honestly. It brought us all together. Everyone was very scared, but we stepped out of that and walked away feeling so brave and rebellious and prideful. Like, yeah, we just debunked these locations, no big deal. It was a really fun experience to have. And yeah, we just want to send out that message. Don't be so scared, even though it seems like it's going to be so scary, the end of the world. But it's really not.
We hope that we can teach other people to do the same thing. Stay curious. Don't be as afraid as you might think, because the only reason you might be afraid of these locations is because prior rumors say that, oh, we ghost you and stuff like that.